Hey guys, how are you guys doing today? It's been an interesting week for me. I'm glad to be back on the microphones because it was kind of a hard weekend, kind of a hard couple of days, but I got through it and I'm better for it, and that's going to affect the conversation, but I think it'll affect it in a good way because that's how I am. I'm dope. I take every adversity and I turn it into a win. I don't know if that's me being arrogant, but it's definitely true. And you can get the benefit from that if you listen to Tattooed with Children, which is what you're actually listening to, Tattooed with Children. I am your host, Flavor Ray, and seat A. Across from me and seat B is the Dread Pirate Benjamin. Across from us both is a brand new producer, Megan, who doesn't have a Tattooed with Children name yet, but I'm working on it.
Wonderful. Hello. I'm the new media technician and podcast producer, Megan.
What is your opinion on your name? Do you have an opinion on your name, or can I just go wild with it?
You can go wild with it. I mean, I do have a couple names that I go by already. I mean, I'm the Full Moon Child, Megan, tarot reader, and then I also go by Slowpoke Megan. But I'm curious to see what you do for me, Ray. So go crazy.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Like I had something like a play on Luna working in my head.
Sure.
But that's been used in like games and such.
Okay.
And so it's like I don't want to bring that. I don't want to bring some preconceived stuff to it. Like I'm trying to make something as uniquely you.
Wonderful.
So when we named Megan, it was Megan Elizabeth Harbuck, which spells out meh.
I don't like to talk about it.
This is one of the first. This is one of the first father wounds.
That's his firstborn, by the way.
Yes.
You know what? But here's the deal, though. Okay, my firstborn is named Audrey Bernadette Coleman.
Yeah.
Which
ABC.
ABC. Which I thought, because then I figured I could call her Alphabet or Bets. I was like, if I just want to call her Bets. Hey, what's up, Bets?
Yeah, and then Google stole that from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wasn't appreciative.
I understand.
But
life happens.
Yeah, it comes at you fast. As I'm learning over and over again, fucking 41 years, I still have to learn. Hey, life comes at you fast. Shit changes in a rapid manner.
Yeah, it does.
It sure does.
But we adjust. Like that's the weird thing about being alive. The only thing that matters is the thing that changes, and that's the only thing we're not prepared for is for the changes.
Yeah, and it's always strange to me too, like how many people say I don't like change.
Yeah.
When it's the only constant there is.
Yeah.
Like everybody acts like it. We were talking about this earlier as it related to something else. I'm fascinated by how many people love 4-leaf clovers.
Yeah.
They love the anomaly.
They love the mutant
mutant
strain.
Yeah, and I think that's where we're at with television right now. With movies, it's like if there's something weird, we love it. But if it's normal,
if
we
it's
don't
something that
love
we
it.
know works, we're
right.
like, well, that's boring. That's been done.
Yeah, let's try it a different way. So I don't know. It's interesting because there's all these amazing 3-leaf clovers, and everybody's like, oh, this sucks. And it's like, it really doesn't suck. It's kind of dope, actually. Like, have you ever looked at, a pile of clover, on the side of the road? You're just like, okay, that's rad. There's varying degrees of height and color and texture and,
you
all
sort
this
of
stuff.
Understand what, why you would look at a field of it and be like, wow, there is God.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's dope. So
that was quite a leap, but I understand.
Well, that's how the 3-leaf clover, that's what St. Patrick used to explain the Trinity. He picked
the
up
Father, Son, the Holy Spirit.
3 things that are one thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's. I'm sorry. That was my Catholic Christianity coming to the forefront.
I see.
Nah.
Okay,
I'm back.
Wonderful.
I've been married 20 years to a Catholic. Like I said, when we started dating, she gave me a copy of the Catechism, which is a book that is about 4 inches thick, and read this. You want to date me?
Yeah,
wow.
Somebody gave me a book of that. I gave it back.
I read it.
How did that conversation go?
I went to Chicago with my family and read the whole fucking thing on the trip.
Wow. How long was the trip?
We were gone for like a week.
How boring was the trip?
It wasn't boring at all. Dude, nobody's ever been to Chicago and called it boring. It was just like, I read fast.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
And we were driving, we weren't flying.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes a huge difference then.
Yeah. So, anyway, what do you guys want to talk about? I think Megan, producer Megan, I'm just going to have to go with that for now.
Okay.
Producer Megan mentioned anime, which is a subject near and dear to my heart.
I would love to talk about anime because there has been a lot of great anime coming out recently.
You know what? I have noticed that. There's been a lot of recent anime that is new and exciting, and I haven't seen much of it because my daughter is so into Naruto now. She's found it finally.
That's great.
She's how old?
She is 10.
She's 10, and she's watching... Hey, will you let that dumb dog back in?
Yes. Do you want me to pause this?
No.
Okay.
No, we can do it.
Okay.
Because he's talking.
Totally fine.
All right.
Yeah, 10 is about the age that most people get into anime. Some people get into it a little younger, but it kind of takes over like your whole life after that.
Yeah, like I'm taking it slow with her, which is odd because the first time I tried to get her to watch Naruto in particular, she was about 3 or 4. And I thought, like, this is pretty images, and she's into animation. And she got to the first arc, and the guy had, like, serrated teeth.
Right.
Zabuza.
Yeah, Zabuza.
And she's like, that shit's too scary. I don't watch this anymore. And she left the room.
Yeah.
And so, like, and that was, like, 7 years later, she's like, hey, let's give that thing a try again that you tried to get me into too early because you're an idiot.
Right.
I was like, okay. And so I'm making her watch like 1 or 2 episodes a night and then stopping it. And then just letting her think about it for 24 hours and then start up again.
That's great.
She thinks I'm being pedantic or, trying to make it episodic. I'm not. It's just that Naruto is dense.
Yeah,
Right.
it
There's
is.
1,000 lessons per episode. And so it's like, you just need digestion time, I think.
Well, back in the day when Xander, my younger brother and I, when we were watching it, it came on Adult Swim, right as Adult Swim would come on, so about 9 o'clock. And we had to watch it every week because that's when it came on, So I think it's good that the way you're taking it with her is not binge watching it. It's a slow digestion, which I think is what kids really need,
Yeah, if you binge watch it, you're going to miss 80% of it.
Yes. Absolutely.
Like she figured out, because I did it slow, she figured out right away that the tuning exams were a bad thing for children. Mm-hmm. It was like that. This isn't a way you're supposed to raise kids. And I'm like, this is the way I'm raising you.
Right.
Yeah.
She's like, well, you're not going to ask me to kill anybody, or anything like that.
No.
And I looked her dead in the face on the couch, and I said, Audrey, you've taken 3 martial arts classes since you were 3 years old. Do you think that I'm doing this because I like martial arts?
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing this just in case I have to send you on a mission.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to fail, so I'm giving you the tools that need for the mission. It's got no other reason than that. And she got this really plaintive look on her face and went, okay. All right, as long as I know what it's all about.
She just accepted it. That's great.
She just moved right into it because I've raised her to be a shinobi from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all are talking about new anime that's coming out.
Yes,
I think that we should talk about new anime, yes, because there was something that spurred this in particular for me.
Okay.
Now, Ray, I know my dad has seen this. Have you watched Demon Slayer?
Yes.
Kimetsu no Yaiba Demon Slayer.
I have watched Demon Slayer.
You've watched it all the way through?
Maybe not.
Okay. Dad, have you?
No, I have not finished it.
Okay. Well, what were your... So this... Demon Slayer, for those of you who don't know, is pretty much the anime that took the world by storm last year, because there's always one a year. Back in 2013, I would say it was Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody was talking about that.
Yes, including myself. In 2017, I would say that it was My Hero Academia.
I would say that as well, yeah.
So 2019 was Demon Slayer, and I'm a huge fan, but I want to get y'all's takes on that, because we don't know if there's going to be a second season yet. The manga is still ongoing, which I keep up with, and it's crazy. I just want to hear your thoughts.
My thoughts on Demon Slayer.
Yeah, first of all. Unless there's anything else that you've watched as well that we want to talk about.
As far as Demon Slayer goes, it was a really hard anime for me to get into because it started out with the notion that like all these kids like getting killed, and Naruto kind of like led you into that slowly, right?
Yeah.
And Demon Slayer was just like, hey, dead children.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, like this is a little like I think I started it on a night that I was kind of having a rough day. And so I was like, okay, I don't know if I can do this.
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I haven't seen this one. I thought it was something different.
Oh.
Haven't seen this one at all.
Oh, no.
Well, the interesting thing about it is that the thing that actually kept me watching it, though, was the thing that kept me watching it was some symbols. Like that I'm really weird about shows. I do this with like even like Korean television. Like if the story is not interesting to me, but the place that the story takes place in, like they do it at a coffee shop, I'll keep watching because of the coffee shop.
Yeah.
Or if the images, if they open every episode of Demon Slayer with like 3 characters, and the episode ends with 3 characters in the main scene,
right?
I'll keep watching it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like because of those old, it's almost like shapes.
Yeah.
Like my mind is not necessarily attracted to the story yet. So yeah, Ray, it's totally worth it. By the way,
I guess I should.
I'm looking at the original run release. It was April, like they read from April to September.
Mm-hmm. So let me give a brief summary of Kimetsu no Yaiba Demon Slayer. For those of you listening at home who maybe haven't heard of it, it's about a boy named Tanjiro and his sister Nezuko, and they live in a world where demons exist and they plague humanity from the nighttime, the shadows. This isn't a spoiler because I believe it's literally in the summary, but Tanjiro and Nezuko's family is murdered while Tanjiro is away. Mm-hmm. And Nezuko actually turns into a demon, but instead of being hungry for human flesh, she resists the urge and instead replenishes her energy by sleeping. So the whole story is Tanjiro is trying to figure out a way to turn Nezuko back into a demon, a human.
Right.
And it's just really interesting because there's, you have all of these demon slayers who see Nezuko and are like, well, she's a monster. We should kill her immediately.
Right.
And he proves to them, no, she's just like you and me, and we got to make her better. There's a lot of interesting life lessons there, and it's set in, I believe, like late Edo period Japan, so like the late 1800s.
Right. So everyone's carrying swords. You get a lot of flowing clothes.
Yes. It's
like
a
that.
beautiful anime, and that's the thing that really drew me in was the style is extremely unique and very faithful to the manga. That's what gets me.
Which can be important to a lot of I don't know if oftentimes people that are involved that are into anime may not even be into manga at all.
Yeah.
But the manga for me is where I started.
Okay.
And so when a show is faithful to the source material, which is usually a manga, I am extremely intrigued by that.
Yeah, me too.
Because like Naruto is one of those things where they combined the anime and the manga. They released them almost simultaneously, and so one fleshed out the other.
Yeah.
And that I think that's the best way to do it. So if that's what's going on here, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, you need to watch it. I mean, it's one of those anime that you could probably binge in about a week. It's 26 episodes.
It's got a lot of really ancient, a lot of really ancient ideas. But I think the thing you'll pick up on that's really fascinating and correlates to our time is they're in the middle of a transition.
Yeah. Okay.
So, in other words, they're going from the old ways with the samurai swords and the magic and all the things to automobiles.
Okay.
And things of that
Oh,
nature.
okay,
And
that
so
period.
you're seeing like half of society in suits.
Yeah.
and no weapons of any type, and you're seeing half of society wearing the old garb and carrying weapons or instruments to work in the field.
It's very interesting to me because of how fast humans evolve themselves technically. That is a story that plays out in almost every culture on the planet.
Yeah.
Where you have the city versus the rural, where one portion of society, they're one society, but one portion operates by a completely separate set of rules than the other portion.
Yeah.
It's like the rules that apply in New York do not necessarily apply in Appalachia.
Right.
Exactly.
100%. And it's, I don't know, it's a very interesting, I think it correlates with our time.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. Because
we're definitely in transition.
Because while we're not going from rural to city, we're going from industrial to technology.
Yeah, we're going from analog to digital.
Right.
Which I think may be probably the roughest transition our species will go through. Like
Absolutely.
If we get through this one, we will be shocked by how difficult it was to get here, and B, by how different we are from where we were.
Yeah, I agree with that. So I don't know, that's a really good one.
What else have y'all been watching?
Like, I tend to go, like, this Demon Slayer, I'm shocked I didn't find, because I am all about violent anime, particularly as it relates to children, because I think that our world in general is very dangerous for children.
Yes.
And so I'm always curious. I'm always looking for people who have recognized that and want to put that into a story, because they want to have that conversation about why we kill kids so often. So I'll be looking into
why we kill kids.
Why do we kill children? Like, it's a question that Naruto asked almost immediately. Why do you kill children? And like we don't have an answer yet. So Demon Slayer I'll be looking into. There's another one that just started called Cage of Insects, I think it is, or Insects.
Well, this is going to be frightening to me if it's about bugs or about people.
It's about people turning into bugs.
Okay.
See, that sounds like some DC shit.
Well, it's definitely like one of the tropes. Cagastur of an Insect Cage is named. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
It just started, and one of the anime tropes is that is apocalypse. You know, and one of the greatest apocalypses you can have, of course, is a disease.
Sure.
And so there's plenty of diseases in anime where a person turns into a monster. It's like it spreads out. It's like a zombie apocalypse, but 1,000 times worse, because this zombie isn't slow. It's more of a horrific monster that is going to hunt you down and eat you.
Wasn't that kind of the concept of Tokyo Ghoul?
It's the same concept as in Tokyo Ghoul. Like I said, it's a fairly common trope at this point. Okay. I think Tokyo Ghoul is probably the best example. This one is, the great thing about this one is that it's reminiscent of Tokyo Ghoul, but it changes the plot just a little bit. Okay. Like, it's an epidemic, but it's a future epidemic, and so you have to make the monsters impervious to those things that you would almost I'll just shoot it. Well, then it's impervious to bullets. Well, I'll cut it. Well, you can't cut it, and so you have to start developing special things. It's kind of like Attack on Titan. Okay. Where they have to develop a special technique to take them out.
And Attack on Titan was particularly violent.
Yeah, it was.
It was. I didn't make it through 3 episodes of that. I just couldn't. I was at a place where
really?
I couldn't. I couldn't do it.
Oh wow, it's not fast. Like, I'm not interested in but it's like that's definitely if you leave after 3 episodes, you they didn't really get into the problems of that.
Yeah.
Like the actual issue.
They didn't get into the story until later.
They didn't get into the story until later.
Another one I'm watching, or have watched, but I haven't watched it in a while. You're going to have to help me remember the name. It's the girl that goes to the school that is all about gambling.
Oh, yes. Hold on.
It starts with a K.
Gambling? anime.
Yeah, dude. Okay, like, dude, this one is. I like this one because of how sexy it looks.
Yeah, it's so adult.
It's so
It's like really disturbing
but
how
it's
adult
set
it
in a
is.
school. It's set in a school like they're high school kids,
Right.
But they don't look like high school kids
No,
at
they
all.
don't.
Kakegururi.
Yes,
And do they have a second season yet?
Because
Because when I watched it, I binged one.
Okay, let me.
So, if
find
I could
it.
talk about this one for a second.
Go ahead.
So, basically, everything in the school is based on money, but you can't bring money with you.
Right.
You have to earn the money in the school. How do you
Right.
earn the money? You earn the money by gambling.
Right.
You have to, and if you're the best gambler, then you run the school literally. You have
Yeah.
more power than any adult there.
Yeah.
And so it's a Naruto type situation.
Yeah.
Where they're using kids to battle each other
Yeah.
to the death to an extent. Because if you lose everything, lose all your money, then they can turn you into a slave.
Right.
They say what a slave means. Well,
Yeah,
it means
you
exactly
still-
what you think it
Right.
means.
Yeah. You stay in school, but you literally just have to spend your days doing other people's bidding.
Like literally, if they want to put a leash on you and
Yeah.
you make you into a dog or a footstool, then that's
Right.
what you are.
Or if they want you, to do their homework, clean their room, whatever it is.
So, kakegururi, it's also known as compulsive gambler. So, for those of you at home who want to look it up, Kakegurui. So I'm not finding right off the bat if there's a second season, but this is one that I've wanted to look into because it does look really interesting, and there are a lot of people who like it.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't
It's
it kind of
fascinating.
dark?
Oh, it's very dark.
Yeah, it's
Extremely dark.
incredibly dark, and there's a kind of there's a supernatural backdrop to it.
Okay.
Meaning, it reminds me a little bit of like X-Files or something, in that what you're going through is like normal everyday life. But instead of like kids worrying about their SATs, they're worrying about getting to the next break so they can play this gambling game. But behind that backdrop is there magic? Are they all human?
In other words, like if this person is the best gambler, why? Is it because they're lucky? Well, that's
Right.
even unlikely. Well, they're probably cheating.
Right.
Well, if they're cheating, how are they cheating?
Right.
And if they are cheating, do we even fucking care?
Right.
It's that sort of thing.
It's a really ethically minded, I would argue, even though it's like, even though it's a very rich.
I would describe it as a justice anime.
Okay.
In other words, this situation is designed for injustice, and so the main character is the justice brought into the unjust situation.
Yeah.
She's a compulsive gambler, but she knows all the tricks, and so her purpose isn't to win.
Right.
Her purpose is to keep gambling over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And that breaks the system.
Yeah, she wants to just stay in the game.
Yeah.
And everybody else wants to make the most money and have the most power, and she's like, but where's the next game at?
Yeah.
It's a really fascinating story.
It's so good.
If you can get around the anime style, the anime style is every character has giant boobs.
Yeah, I would say honestly,
Very sexy.
It's
Yeah.
a little
Over the top?
Well, they call it ecchi.
Yeah.
Is the word in the anime manga circles. But at the same time, their characters are so young. It's very uncomfortable if you're an old man like me.
Yeah, no, it is. I didn't feel comfortable watching it around anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, when I was watching it for the way the character interacted with the gambling.
Yeah.
Because people may not know this about me. I haven't gambled in over a decade, but I haven't gambled in a casino for over a decade.
See, he can't look at me in the face
I
and
can't.
say that sentence.
Ray has watched a lot of my ups and downs with gambling.
Yeah.
But I try to stay
More downs than ups.
I try to stay away from it because I'll get lost.
Yeah.
I won't come back
Yeah.
because I love games so much.
It's this thing where this character does this perfectly in the end, and I think we're probably spending too much time on this one. But this character, whenever the game's at its height, she's not winning. Mm-hmm. But when the stakes are at their highest, she gets this look on her face, which can only be described as orgasm.
Yeah.
and it's so indicative of addiction.
Yeah.
It has me entranced because it's like all addicts will get that look on their face when they're at their height of their addiction.
Well, do you remember when there was that one time downtown where we were running the coffee shop, and I think we had both gone home. Mm-hmm. It was probably 12:45, and I called you or I texted you and said, "Hey, meet me downtown." We got downtown, and I was
vividly.
And I got out of the car on my phone.
Yes.
And you were like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Just watch." And I was building patterns on an online roulette game.
Yeah. Now, this online roulette game was actual money.
Yeah, so what you do is you can load any amount of money, but generally I've been a fairly poor person, so I would never load any more than $50.
Just 1 second, Megan, have you heard this story before?
I don't. I mean, I know. I recall when Dad was doing this, but I don't think I've heard this particular story.
Okay. So I get out of the car. So I've loaded $50 onto this online gambling site, and
Hold on.
There's a.
Is this gonna make my mother mad if she hears about this later?
Yes.
No, probably not.
Okay.
You don't think she'll be mad about this?
No,
I'm mad right now.
I think she knows.
Okay, she already knows it. Okay.
Just checking.
Yeah, I mean, she knows because I think I gave her a big check.
Okay.
Okay.
So
wonderful. Continue.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
So I've loaded $50 into this online gambling site. I don't do slots. And I don't play blackjack. I've tried to play blackjack, but it doesn't interest me for whatever reasons. Like card. I like games of pure chance.
Yeah, blackjack is not pure chance.
Right,
but you also play poker, which is not pure chance at all.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know what it is. There's something about blackjack. We'll get into that on another episode.
All right, go ahead though.
So I'm playing roulette. Which there's a board, there's 35 numbers, and I'm not playing American roulette, I'm playing European roulette. So there's actually 36 numbers.
36 numbers.
And there's a 0 and a double 0 instead of just a 0.
Yeah.
And I'm building patterns, and I think I had done this once already and cashed out, and I think that was the check Sarah got for like $3 or $4 grand.
Yeah.
And I think...
It's okay. It's all right.
$3 or $4 grand.
That's the reason why I asked you if you knew the story.
And at the time that I got out of the car, I think I had like $800 or $900.
You were at about 1,000.
Okay, so I had loaded $50. I'm up to about 1,000. And the only way you can describe what I'm doing is I'm completely in the moment. I'm completely me and my phone are one.
So picture this, so he steps out of his car. He's just walking blindly across the street.
Yeah.
He's on his phone. So I get up behind his shoulder. I'm looking at what he's doing. Okay.
Right.
So I'm just looking at his phone.
Right.
All right. Keep going.
So you're just looking at my phone, and I want to say I was putting $1 bets on. But instead of putting them on particular numbers, I was designing patterns on the board.
Yes, you were making V's and straight lines.
And X's and arrows. So, like, if you went to, like, a cave in the Southwest and you found cave drawings.
It would look like that roulette board.
It would look like what I was doing on the roulette board. And I want to say, like, I was at about 1,000, and I went to, like, I lost, like, 250.
Something like that.
And then I lost 250. And you were like, Ben, stop. Like, get out. Take the 500. Yeah. You know? And I was like, no, just watch. And I'm moving, and I'm still drawing, and I'm putting these, right? And then I'm at 1,500.
Yeah. And
then I'm at 3,000.
Yeah.
And then I'm at 12,000.
Yeah.
And then I'm at 18,000.
And then it was 18,000. I think it got up to 26.
Yeah. So I've loaded $50 on.
I think I'm going to get mad at you in a second.
And I'm up $26,000, and I think I lost it in about 9 rolls.
About as I'm watching this,
now, as Ray is watching.
Okay, so my eyes are bugging out my head at about 20 grand. You have the 26, and my instinct is to slap.
Yeah.
The actual phone out of his hand.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, I got my hand up to slap his actual phone.
Right.
But I don't, I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
He brought me down here to witness, and so
Right.
I'm gonna just witness what happens.
Yeah.
And what happened was he played all the fucking money back. Is what happened.
Yeah. Well, I only had $50 in the game. What's the big deal?
I lost my shit. You know, like it was like all my shit was lost.
Now, the interesting thing about that is the way I feel when I'm in that zone, and the reason I don't go to casinos, right? And the reason I don't load gambling apps on my phone, because I've learned since then.
Yeah.
The way I feel, so for you, it was 1 o'clock in the morning. It was dark.
Yeah.
For me, I was the sun.
Yeah.
In other words, everything was bright around me.
Yeah.
Everything, like I was the origin of all energy.
Yeah.
So to me, it was daytime.
Yeah.
To me, there was no darkness anywhere. Like we're walking, because I remember I'm walking like back and forth, and like I'm walking like on under the awning, and I'm like walking around that main crossroads there at First and Shepherd, and I'm walking over to the hotel, and I'm back, and I'm across the street, and I'm like walking to the bench, and trying to stay in good internet, but still, I am the basis of everything that is.
Yeah.
I'm the sun.
Yeah.
That when I'm in
the
that
center of the universe was him.
When I'm in that
moment.
when I am in that zone, the ones and the zeros don't make any difference to me.
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
They literally you couldn't say if it had been $260,000,
it wouldn't have mattered.
It wouldn't have made one difference.
That's what I was like. The only thing I could do was slap the phone out of his hand. Like I couldn't tell him to stop. Like that was my voice couldn't reach him.
Yeah,
I couldn't have shaken him.
Yeah,
and been like, Ben, we need this money.
Yeah,
and by the way, we needed that money more than we needed oxygen at that time.
Oh yeah, no, we absolutely did.
Like we were desperate.
Yeah.
Desperate for cash.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, like a couple of days later, I did make us a check.
Yeah.
It wasn't $26,000.
Don't get me wrong. Like it wasn't as if he fucked it off and was like, well, that was that.
Right.
Like he felt like shit about it.
Yeah.
And
Well,
was determined to make it a little bit better.
Yeah, and I did. I think we paid off some debt personally, and I think we paid off some debt. I remember giving my brother a check for the business. I remember giving Sarah a check. I remember me and you paying some bills.
Yeah, we paid some stuff.
And that was, again, it was probably, you're talking about $300 or $400 that I spent over the course of a week. I mean, it wasn't like I was risking large amounts of money.
Yeah.
The thing I've learned since then, and this is just really because I love to play, is I have to have a second with me. Mm-hmm. So the mistake I made there was I had not given you instructions previously.
Right. Like I was watching this the way you would watch a beautiful sunrise and then a plane crash.
Yeah.
Right.
That was the feeling.
Dear.
It was beauty and then horror.
Yeah. But now I've since learned, like, if I'm gonna go to a casino, I can't take someone with me, who's negative. Mm-hmm. I can't have any energy exchange with someone who doesn't understand what's happening.
Right.
But then the other part of it is I can't have someone like me. I have to be completely in my own element. But then I have to give permission to someone to knock the phone out of my hand.
Right.
I have to give permission to someone to take the bag.
Right.
Because I will, in fact, I'm actually very good at this.
Yeah.
I've been good at it my whole life. Like, I know where the energy's going next. I know where the number is going next. I know what card comes off the deck next. I know when the person I'm playing against is lying.
Right.
I don't know what they're lying about, but I know they're lying.
Right.
And so I've been good at this my whole life. I just never gave into it. But a lot of the times when I did it in my early 30s, I didn't have a second. Mm-hmm. And that's what I found, is that in business and in gambling, I always need a second.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I need someone who will go, okay, stop.
Right.
And not hard stop.
Yeah.
The stop is, okay, I'm going to take the bag, and I'm going to run to the bank.
Right.
Here's $50 for you to start again.
Keep going.
Yeah,
but
keep
I'm going to take this cash.
Yeah, I'm going to take
deposit it.
Right, and then you come back and you find me playing a completely new game.
Right.
And it is weirdly enough, it's a little bit different than business for me because with business, I tend to start businesses on things I don't understand. The only way for me to stay interested is to make it a risk.
And this is the reason why you need somebody besides me always, because that's exactly how I am too about business.
Yeah.
I'm not that way about gambling.
Yeah.
Like, I could go to a casino with you and do that thing. I couldn't do that about business.
Okay.
Because, honestly, as soon as I've got my head all the way around it, I've completely lost interest.
Yeah.
That is so weird because I'm very much the opposite. Like, I want to start businesses about things that I know because then I can understand them more and I can research them more.
Yeah.
Because I am, for those of you who don't know, I'm a tarot reader.
Right.
And there is, in tarot, in sort of the metaphysical realm of fortune tellers and things like that, you know, you're always learning. There's astrology to learn. There's zodiac, both Western and Chinese. There's... And so I like to start at least in my business, I want to start projects that I know about to learn more about it. So it's kind of interesting how we have the different views on that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I see. I'm not even remotely like I don't. Now a difference would be tattooing. I think sure. With tattooing, I'm a little bit more like you are.
I think that's endless learning, though. Like, see, like I'm very passionate about experimental learning. So, like, I'm like, in other words, when I went to college, like, I knew I could do very well if I majored in a liberal art. I majored in physics because I knew nothing about it. I knew next to nothing about it.
Yeah,
and I wasn't good at it. And so I just spent all of my time trying to get good at it. And it took me longer than everyone else. Yeah. Like, I did worse there than I'd done in anything else in my life to that point or since. But I did get the degree. You know, I do know physics as a result. And I think that enriched my life. Whereas if I had been, you know, if I became a writer, which is what my strong suit was, I would not be half the person that I am.
Yeah.
For sure.
You know. And so, anyway, this started out about anime, and we got to, what, 3?
Yeah, I think we got to 3. I mean, there's one that I wanted
30.
To mention, but we're going to get back to it at a different
time.
time.
So, yeah, we're gonna, like, anime is definitely a deep discussion. It's deeper when you don't actually talk about it. So, it's going to take a long time. But we're going to get to that and other subjects on Tattoo with Children on our future episodes. This episode is just about done, so you can find Tattoo with Children on Facebook at Tattoo with Children. You can find us on Instagram at Tattoo with Children. You can find us on Twitter at Tattooed With. You can find me on Twitter at Hunter Vanguard. That's one word, Hunter Vanguard. You can find me on IG at Madara Shadow. You can find Ben on IG at Black Crow Brother and also at Black Spot Tattoo Company. You can find Megan, producer Megan, on IG at full.moon.children. And you can also find, like, Mike is on business, but he is definitely.
Oh, I was gonna say that we killed him.
No, we didn't kill him. He'll be back. He's on business. Like, we'll always have Megan, but we'll have Mike's voice in here as well. They'll be swapping out. So Mike is still available at CIO Payne on IG and also at Payne.points. It's Payne spelled Payne. We are still doing Patreon, so you can always find us on Patreon and give us $5. Please, I mentioned Podchasers in relationship to us. Go on Podchasers and give us a review. That would help us out. But also, if there are any podcasts that you're interested in, go on Podchasers and give them a review. That it helps out tremendously. Okay, like I can't explain. A, how good it feels to be reviewed well, but B, how boosting your profile appearances in something like Podchaser, how much that helps us in general. So give all of your favorite podcasts a little goose on Podchasers, and also take care of yourself before you take care of others. I love you guys.
See you.